This
got you.
pretty good, huh? Recording
Uh,
quality भी अच्छा है इसका.
right,
So it started. Okay, we start talking. Okay, so
right.
let's introduce ourselves. Okay, so we have Chitra and we have Sudhir. Okay, yeah.
Hello.
All right. So this is our unofficial podcast. We'll try
Mhm.
to make it official. Okay,
Yes,
and we'll put it on YouTube and let's get some traction there. Okay.
yes.
Now, what do we want to talk about? Why don't you start off with your spiritual journey? What led you into it?
Right. That's a good way. That's a good segue to start off with our podcast, and I'm sure this will be an officially blockbuster podcast, Sudhir, with
Hmm.
both of us and our audiences. So basically, I've always been a hardcore techie.
Hmm.
I was mainly into the analytics part of life, the logical side of things. And when life threw a whole curveball of difficulties my way,
Hmm.
logic really didn't help me to get out of the downs of life in
Hmm.
various spheres of life. So that's when I started researching as to why so many things are happening to me at one go in a not so desirable fashion.
Hmm.
And that's when I started speaking to people like yourself, Sudhir, many other people along the way.
Hmm.
I also knew that there's something beyond what we see ourselves in the mirror, in the physical form.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of other spheres that we need to also tackle while
Hmm.
living life, and that to live in life with a purpose or in a purpose-driven manner.
Hmm.
And these initial findings sort of culminated into a book. That was my second book, which was published, but it was my first book that I wrote actually.
Hmm.
It's called the six spheres of life, which includes all the spheres, including emotional, mental, financial, and also spiritual is a big aspect of life, which generally people don't talk about, or it's not even taught about
Hmm.
in schools or colleges.
Hmm.
That is how my spiritual journey started off. But in the truest sense, my spiritual healing, which is the biggest part of any spiritual journey, is sort of to integrate your outer personality with your inner aspects, is healing, sort of facing the dark side of your life or the shadow of your life.
Hmm.
And it started off in 2025, and that too, there was a trigger point for it, which was very unfortunate. But sometimes I feel that it was a very fortunate event in my life that made me realize that I have to do something even better and more, more in terms of my spiritual healing, so that I could help people out also in their journey and help them lead a more fulfilling life rather than just chasing numbers or, uh, yeah. So this is just in a nutshell about me.
So. Hmm. So. Yeah. So what is? I mean, what according to you is being spiritual?
Yes. So now, if I try and explain this, I'll probably use my tech language because I'm more comfortable with it. But it's like the technology of your soul. So just as you have a software and a hardware component and a processor or a processing engine on your computer system, same applies to us. In fact, the computers are also sort of modeled after the human body and human cognition and metacognition. So the software is probably your your emotions, feelings that are processed by the entire body that you have, along with your CPU, which is your brain. And the environmental factors also play a huge importance, a huge role in your upbringing, and also the way you operate in the outside world, and also the way you process your feelings and emotions. So when you are able to take control of your feelings and emotions, your internal software and hardware, then no matter what happens in the outside world, no matter what kind of virus infects you, you will not be your system will not go down. You will be able to handle it with grace, and also you will be able to find the solutions uh, in a much better way rather than going around in circles. Like
Yeah.
in my spiritual journey, I was going around in circles. I was getting triggered by the same aspects, whether they were coming from within my own self or from within the environment that I was placed in. Now I realize, of course, it has taken me time. The intensity and the frequency has reduced for sure. But now I realize the triggers. And then somebody, like my good friend here, Sudhir, sometimes he also points out my patterns. So I try and focus myself, get my bearing on again, and then I calm down and then I look at the situation from the observer perspective, and then I'm able to see the bigger picture as well as the nitty-gritty details, and then handle the situation in a much better manner.
Okay.
I hope my answer was okay, helpful. If you have anything to add to it, please do.
Yeah. No, you were just perfect, to be honest with you. So I think, right, wrong is is an extremely 3D concept. Okay, right, wrong. It's the urge of wanting to give meaning to everything that's around. Okay,
Yes.
now if you notice, we actually talk about everything being energy. So, the moment, every time you're trying to give a meaning to a particular energy, you're kind of directing consciousness towards it. So, and what is happening is that you're making that energy dense.
Right.
And a very clear example of all of that is physical universe. The physical universe and everything that happens in the physical universe, all our experiences, it is as a result of a very dense energetic environment. Dense, okay. Now, dense may not be concentrated,
Right.
okay. Dense could be suppressed. So imagine 15 people living in a cramped house. It's dense. It could come at a cost where there's people have a total lack of space, personal space. Okay, people don't. They've grown up not knowing the concept of boundaries.
Right.
So density may not be a very good thing. So, yeah. So I was talking about it's the want of giving meaning to everything that's around you. Okay, and that is exactly what religion makes you do.
Hmm.
Meaning. Okay.
Yes.
It's making you give that meaning to that idol outside, to that deity outside, and it's actually like redirecting the power which is inside of you, within you, which is rightfully yours. It's redirecting all of that to something that's on the external.
Right.
Now, for someone who understands this, I mean, it feels like a no-brainer, right? I mean, but then there's no such thing as obvious, there's no such thing as simple, there's no such thing as logic, which I keep saying all the time. There's no such thing as logic.
Hmm.
Okay, everything exists and doesn't exist based on what's convenient for a person.
Right.
Because for most people, most people operate in the autopilot mode. And for them, it's all about convenience, comfort. Okay, so the discomfort has to be more than the benefits of staying in a particular state,
Hmm.
right? So it's like I'm discomfortable with my boss, okay, but the discomfort is not so much that I would want to leave the job and move to another organization. So most often in doing all of this, we actually forget that everything is actually inside of us.
Right. Yeah.
So so what we're actually running away from is ourselves.
You're right.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I like the analogy that you gave.
Hmm?
I like the analogy that you gave of a dense house in terms of the number of people staying in a very small, cramped up space.
Yeah.
So that's what is happening even when it comes to sort of operating from our brain space. Our brain also has that spiritual center. So we have only one part like focused on the visual stimuli or any kind of stimulus that comes from the outside world, and that's what we process and we make our lives revolve around it. There's another part, a huge part, which is within ourselves. So even the triggers that we always speak about, most of the triggers are within ourselves. We, as you said, we try to give a label to it and then we sort of project it outward. There could be, I don't say,
Right, right,
there's
right,
a small possibility that the trigger is from an external source.
right,
Yeah. But
right. And
80%, yeah.
that's exactly what happens, right? Belief systems. You
Mm.
form belief systems. You're not your belief system actually.
Right. Yes.
The belief system could be a part of you, but you're not the part of that belief system.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you by yourself, you are much more than what you call as a belief system. So the point is, so what does it mean? Why am I talking about it? I'm talking about it because we all we've all heard of the old, what do you call it, saying. We've all heard of it, right? I mean, you got to have an open mind, but most often we don't.
Mm.
We don't, right?
Right.
Because we're so attached to our belief system. So the operative word is attachment.
Right.
Is stubbornly, you don't want to let go of that attachment, that belief, and you'll do everything to protect that belief
Yes. Yes. That's what.
because that belief system is a part of an ecosystem around you. You have it with you. You have it around you to protect yourself.
Mm.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, too bad, but that's how it is.
Yeah. I think Sudhir and friends, what I feel like Sudhir and I see, media is one very important factor. This media business keeps throwing the same images onto all our friends here, right? Like this
Hmm.
guy is an idol, that lady is an idol. Like the pop stars, the singers, or the entertainers or whatever. So we are doing the same thing from the spiritual perspective. We want you to
Hmm.
sort of open up. Like, so you've been open up to all the other beliefs for so many years, and probably things have not worked out in your life. I
Hmm.
say that with guarantee because even we have been through the same phase,
Yeah.
and now we are in the other segment of life, the other part of life, which is very less talked about or less delved into. So we are going to be doing the same thing. We are going to be hammering you guys with these are belief systems. These are proven techniques that have
Hmm.
helped us move to the next level of performance or whatever you want to say. Next level of living life to the fullest, which all of us want to live in life in a peaceful fashion. So these are some things that will be thrown out at you time and again, so that they make they sort of make an imprint or in your headspace in a good way. So we just have a request to make that keep a portion of your brain open for it to receive it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
So you have to be in a state of flow.
Right.
Okay, you have to be in a state of flow. So, how do you put this across? You have to be in a state of flow. You have to keep moving. If you notice, even in this reality, in this existence, which we call the physical world, we keep saying day in and day out, okay, is that our lifestyle has become sedentary,
Right.
which is our lifestyle is stagnant. There's no flow in our life.
Right.
Everything that we do in this physical universe, technically we are aware that we can't be stagnated. We can't be stagnated. We know that. Okay? But when it actually comes to your real spiritual energetic body, we have no clue what's happening there, right? Most of us don't know that an energetic or a spiritual body even exists.
Right.
We don't. Okay, so let alone them knowing something and let alone them doing something.
Mm.
So what is this supposed to mean? Okay, so the point is, this is where we talk about awareness. What is awareness? Okay. Awareness, in simple words, is being aware that you have a free will and you can exercise it. That's awareness. So awareness means knowing what's happening around you, but knowing it and seeing it, observing it. So there's a difference. One is knowing it and observing it, and knowing it and wanting to become a part of it.
Right.
So you know that. So I usually, this is my, I have a favorite example for this. So, so this is more to do about observing and seeing things without any judgment. Okay,
Hmm.
and it's also a very good example for acceptance, surrender. So what I normally say is, let's say today I felt like shopping and I want to buy a T-shirt, right? I'm gonna go to the store, wherever, and at the store I'm trying to look for the T-shirt which I like. I can see a lot of T-shirts there. I can see a lot of designs. I can see a lot of patterns, but I don't really, not something that I would choose, right?
Right.
It's not something that I would choose. I'm trying to look for the pattern that I want, the design that I want, the kind of T-shirt I want, right? Now it turns out that that particular pattern or the kind that I want isn't available there. It's out of stock. It's not. It's just not there at that moment. Okay. Now what do I do? Do I sit there, look at all the other T-shirts and keep judging them? Do I look at all those T-shirts and say, I'm feeling threatened, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, looking at the T-shirts or something? This is not what I wanted. So I'm gonna, I'm getting triggered. Is that what you do?
No. Absolutely no.
So
No.
you just move out, right? You move
Right.
out, you go. Why? Because at a subconscious level, you'll say, fine, it's a design. Even that design has the right to exist.
Correct.
So same with feelings. Your feelings are not yours. Your thoughts are not yours. Nothing is yours, and it doesn't have to be yours.
Hmm.
Correct?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like this phone. This phone is not mine. I've just bought it. I'm going to use it. I had a choice, right? No one forced me to take the phone. Same with the feeling and same with you feel something doesn't mean that it's yours. You have the free will. You're going to feel it regardless, but you don't have to identify with the feeling.
Right. Right.
You don't have to identify with the feeling. It's like I didn't like that T-shirt, but the T-shirt fell from the rack and it fell on me. So does it mean that that T-shirt is mine? I have to identify with that T-shirt? No, right? So same with feelings, same with thoughts, same with everything.
Right. Yes, you're right. That's a good example. Very good example.
Mm.
Very much relatable, because all of us are shopping sometime or the other. So,
Yeah, most of us,
right.
most of us.
And
So this,
right.
I guess my inspiration for examples. Okay, I've been one for examples all throughout my life.
Right.
But the one who's inspired me is this YouTuber coach. He's just wonderful actually. His name is Quasi Johir. He's the one who's inspired me.
Mm.
Okay, I guess he's probably a 29, 30-year-old lad.
Right.
But he's just too good. He's awesome. He just nails it, and he talks in very basic language,
Right.
very simple basic language.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so things don't have to be complicated.
Absolutely. And even
Big things
yeah.
don't have to be complicated. Okay,
Absolutely.
things
Yeah.
are meant to be simple, are simple. Okay, so there is no such thing as easy or difficult.
Right. And there's no such thing as right or wrong also. And,
Exactly.
yeah, when we
Exactly. It's
because when we
universal.
spoke about external influences, like for example, when I even gave an example of the media, how it impacts people, I was not judging the media. I was telling the people that just keep an open mind even to the other ways of thinking, or to the alternative media channels that are coming along in the last 10, 12 years. Just keep an open mind. You have kept an open mind for the traditional media. Keep the same open mind for the alternative or the fringe media that is coming along. There's always something to learn from somewhere, always something to process or diffuse or even ignore and just be there with it, sit with it. So
Right.
yeah, so just being aware of that there are other things also happening in the world which are not generally focused upon. That is why they're not in the spotlight or in the limelight.
Hmm.
But they too do exist too. So they cannot be dismissed just because they are not spoken about, like in large circles or on the big screens or on in the traditional media outlets. Yeah. Same thing about the t-shirt that you spoke about, or the t-shirts that you spoke about. All of them have the right to be there in that store, or may not be there.
Everything has the right to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so every so the thing is, in the spiritual circles, they all talk about karma.
Hmm.
They talk about the past life. They talk about karma. Okay. Now the point is, the same person will say that uh, all the learning happens in the 3D. That's what they say.
Yeah.
It happens in the 3D because the 3D technically is meant to be so different from the rest of the Ds, which is why all the learning happens here, which is why you come here. Correct? So, and apparently you accumulate the karma in the 3D. So when 3D is so different from all the other Ds and you are accumulating this particular karma or whatever you want to call it in the 3D,
Hmm.
how is it even relevant to the other Ds, let alone carrying the karma somewhere?
Right. That makes for a good point that you're talking about
Correct.
karma. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So to me, karma is nothing, to be honest. Okay, karma. If you go by the definition, karma is, at the end of the day, every soul has to be his or her authentic self. Okay,
Right.
and if you've come here to learn, increase our consciousness. Okay, and if we accept and understand that learning will only happen with acceptance, surrender, detachment. Okay, and if you're trying to learn in this existence, and every time you think of doing something, or every time you're involved in doing something, and if you have karma playing in the back of your mind,
Right.
so are you really detached?
Hmm. No. No. It's another. Right.
You're not,
Hmm.
because you're chasing karma.
Right.
Everything that you do will be about karma.
Right.
Okay, nothing will be about your authentic self.
Yeah.
It'll be karma all the way.
Right. You will be doing it. It will be driven by guilt and shame, which may not even exist. Yeah.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid
Hmm.
what you call bad karma.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, you are trying to avoid that for what joy? Okay, because so that apparently in the next life something will happen.
Hmm.
Alright, so I'm going to suggest that if all the learning, if this entire setup is only in the 3D, where there is a family, where there is a physical existence, there is a family, a person goes to work, a person earns money, a person does this, person does that. So all these concepts are also limited to the 3D there.
Right. Right.
Because for one time doesn't exist in the higher dimensions.
Right. And also, Sudhir, I would like to add to your perspective.
Hmm.
It's a very nuanced perspective that you have brought about,
Hmm.
about karma. So, like, if we talk about this planet, say it's a learning school or it's a
Hmm.
universe.
Hmm.
So then, in that case, people should also question the the syllabus or the dynamics of this universe. Because if we take the
Exactly.
universities that we go to or the schools that we go to in the 3D world, we do remember what we have learned in the first standard. We do remember what we have learned in the second standard as we graduate further along the path. But that doesn't happen in real life, right? I mean, when it comes to life after life or reincarnation. So this is one more aspect that people need to understand.
Hmm.
I've done some bad karma, which we label as bad or good or whatever, and then we're waiting for some kind of an outcome that will happen probably maybe 10 years down the line or maybe 10 births down the line. We don't have any way of verifying it anyways. because we don't remember. We don't remember across lifetimes. We may remember some small portions through spontaneous life recall
Right.
or through hypnosis or whatever.
Right.
Right.
So firstly, there is a concept of parallel universes. There is a concept of simultaneous existence.
Right.
Okay, and which says very clearly that all possible outcome is already predetermined.
Right.
Okay, so in the 3D, when you talk about karma, so you're obviously associating that act of acquiring good karma or the act of acquiring bad karma with something that you're doing in the 3D, correct?
Yes.
With a particular action or with a particular outcome. But then we're told that every particular action and every particular outcome is already written. Every possibility is already written.
Right.
It's already there in existence.
Right.
So what particular outcome are you trying to avoid,
Hmm.
and what particular karma are you trying to run away from?
Right. Right. So this sounds sort of looks like from the patterns or whatever has been
It's a
already
trap.
predicted.
It's a
It
trap.
looks like a trap. It looks like a trap. And it looks like a computer program, because
Exactly.
it has a set of fixed parameters. And there's nothing beyond it, or there's nothing below it. Everything
Below it.
happens within it, right? So tomorrow, if I say I want to do a particular action, like if I say I want to fly through this window and I want
Hmm.
to fly across all the buildings and then land up, say, in the Capitol Hall,
Hmm.
if this is not a part of the fixed set of actions and outcomes, it will not happen anyways. And if it is, it will happen, right? So there's nothing to avoid or run away from, and there's nothing to chase. And whatever falls in your lap, it sort of feels
Things
predetermined.
see,
Right.
the point being, things do fall
Right.
in your lap.
Right.
The problem is, are you able to believe that it will fall in your lap?
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll give you an example. Okay, we've all been told that we have to work hard. But what is hard work? Can anyone actually define hard work?
Not really. Not really. It's a subjective
It is
term.
completely subjective.
Right.
It is like completely dumb. Forget about subjective. It's a completely dumb concept. Okay, I mean, how did someone come with the realization? So how did someone really discover that this is considered hard work, and this much hard work is what you need to do to to make something happen?
Hmm.
How did where did this concept logic come from? You have to work hard for money. Why? You have to work for money. You
Right.
have to work for money. But why do you need to know if that's hard work or easy work? You have to work for money.
Yes. Right. I think there are labels, as you mentioned earlier, that labels.
They are all labels. They
Right.
are labels, right?
Right.
Okay. And so you have to understand this is what language does, by
Right.
the way.
Right.
Why do you think English has so many words with the same meaning?
Right. Right. It's for confusing people, to keep people in a.
Because a word, when you use it very often, it can lose its power,
Hmm.
right? So it will lose its spell. So you can't really spell it out on someone,
Right. Right.
which is why you will have multiple words.
Right. Homonyms. Yeah.
Yeah. So that the energy is like it gets distributed.
Right.
Within.
Balanced out or sort of diffused.
Yeah.
Not
This
completely
is how the
diffused.
caste is
Right.
work.
Right.
This is how the caste is work. Someone relates to the word doing. Someone relates to the word working.
Hmm.
Someone relates to the word hard work.
Right. Grind.
And this is how
Right.
they cast a spell.
Right.
This is how the system is set up. This is what the matrix is.
Right. So when we This is a very good point that you have brought up. So when we say that we have to think outside the box, people take it literally. It's not about thinking outside the box, it's thinking beyond the power of words.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
In terms of
about
your,
starting where the other people will stop,
yeah, right.
right?
Right,
Starting where the other people will stop.
right. Correct.
So it's something like this, Uh, in this existence, we have a system. In this existence, we have what you call as laws, and in this existence, you have what you call as law enforcement. Okay, right?
Yeah.
And what we are told, or probably what at least the intention or the attempt is, that that we understand it this way, is that the law enforcement is very strong. You can't really run away from the law enforcement. You can't really get away with anything that's illegal. Correct?
Right.
This is what they keep telling us, right?
Yeah.
So the point here is, if this is a fact, let's say, this is a fact, you can't get away with something that's illegal. You can't, you can't keep running. The law enforcement will get the best of you at one point of time or the other. If it's a fact, then why does it need to be reinforced so many times? It's
Right.
like gravity, right? I don't have to know gravity.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, no
Right.
one needs to reinforce that. I
Right.
know if I dive, if it's a fact. If I
Right.
dive, I'm going to fall down.
Right.
I'm not going to go up, right?
Right.
I'll fall down. I'll probably die, and then I'll go up. Correct. The point is, if this is the case, why does anyone need to keep reminding you of this?
Right. Right. So what you're saying is absolutely spot on. May I add something to this, Sudhir?
Yeah, yeah, please,
Yeah.
please.
So what Sudhir said is, when we look at any aspect in life, there are two things. One is the wording, and one is the spirit behind the wordings. So in law enforcement, what happens is they go by the words. They catch you in the words. The words are there. And there's something behind it, which is the
Where the
spirit.
spirit is, the
Yeah.
spirit world.
Yeah, which talks about finding the truth. Actually, even when you talk about any constitution or any law which is sort of which has been passed by the parliament or by the judicial system, it has this spirit behind it, which is never discussed, or which is never even enforced. The spirit needs to be enforced, and not the actual wordings. So the wordings is something that people need to be hammered with.
Spirit is where the energy is,
Right. So
the frequency is.
right. So this is a very good point, that it's not a fact, it's a belief that sort of has been enforced.
Yeah, and if facts were really a thing, to be honest, if
Right.
facts were really a thing,
Right.
okay, all right, because everything, if once you know everything exists, so everything is a fact there.
Correct. Correct. And facts need not be proven again and again, or need not be enforced again and again. Right. Right.
And any which ways, consciousness defines matter. We all know that by now. Okay, so if you have a group of people believing that
The earth is flat.
huh,
The
the
earth.
earth is flat,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what their consciousness is defining it to be.
Right. Right. And that's how they'll also find the proofs for it. Yeah, right. So they'll get it along the way. It may be a fact, it may not be a fact at the spiritual level, or from the 4D or the 5D perspective, or from the perspective, right?
But when we say everything, every possibility exists,
So it is there.
and that possibility, let it exist.
Right, it is there. Yeah. Right.
Let it exist. It's fine.
Right. There's no need to be at loggerheads with the other party. Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
what your achievements, what you want in life, your manifestations
Right.
have nothing to do with it,
Right. Correct.
because your manifestation also exists.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So this is we've spoken some, we've. I think it's a gold mine of wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I think next time onwards we should do it on Instagram, live
Yes.
Instagram, like Facebook,
Right.
and
Right.
send it
अच्छा
all
किया.
over your network. We can actually call a few more people.
यस,
We need to
अच्छा
call
किया
a few more
सुधीर
people.
ने. इम्प्रॉम्प्टू सेशन बहुत अच्छा किया.
अरे
अपना भी
तो
बहुत.
this actually means this. So this means, okay. I'll stop recording. Hold on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. Yeah.